All right, welcome into the 11th episode of the Bulldozer Fantasy Football Podcast. Guys, we're getting closer and closer to the season. It's exciting. We're about 2 weeks away, which is nice. Before some actual action. I mean, we've got preseason going on right now, which has been just a little taste of what's coming. There's been some fun storylines coming out. So in today's episode, we'll get into some news and notes, and then we'll jump into 3 players to buy right now if you're a contending team, 3 players to sell if you're honestly rebuilding or contending, because I just don't think they're going to do much for the Dynasty community going forward. And it's better to get out before it's too late while they still have some value. And then we'll jump into a mock draft. This one would be for a redraft league. I'm just practicing because I've got 2 redraft drafts coming up in the next week. So I got to get ready myself. So we'll see what's going on. Some of you are in those leagues, so you can maybe see what I'm planning on doing or not planning on doing. But anyways, we will just jump right in. Let's start with the big news. Jonathan Taylor trade is imminent probably, after the owner kind of came out and gave him some hate, and then they had their fallout, and the holdout was there, and the fake injury happened. So it's where are they going to trade him now? Not so much if they're going to trade him. Potential landing spots, in my opinion: Chiefs, Vikings, Dolphins. Who doesn't want a premier running back? Now, whoever trades for him is going to have to sign him to a contract, so that might be a little interesting. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, he lands somewhere that's great for fantasy. Most places that would be trading for him, I'm assuming they would throw him into that number one role. So we'll see what happens. And then we've got, let's see, Breece Hall. He's got Dalvin Cook joining. I would personally go ahead and buy Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. Dalvin's going to be great for contending, but Breece Hall right now is getting looked at in less of a light because of the fact that Dalvin's joining him. I wouldn't be too concerned with the long-term outlook of Breece Hall right now, so I would just go ahead and try and test that fantasy owner. There we go. Gotta get that in there. All right. And then we've got Treylon Burks getting injured, an LCL injury. I'd also probably try and buy the dip, just test the owner, see what they're thinking about him. But D-Hop should get a bump for just this season for sure. And I probably wouldn't expect too much from Treylon Burks right when he comes back. And it might be a second half kind of push for Burks. And so I would buy after he has maybe a couple games back and he isn't necessarily producing, if that's what happens, and then hopefully he'll come back to form later on in the season, and you got a wide receiver that you shouldn't have gotten for as cheap. But Ramondre Stevenson is getting Zeke Elliott in the backfield with him. At first I would have been more concerned if it was someone who had more of a pass catching profile. I know Zeke can do it, obviously, and he did it well in Dallas. But he's kind of, in my opinion, a little bit past, his prime. And I figured, Ramondre would probably be the more elite back. I still expect him to get probably 70% of the workload, but, if they signed like Kareem Hunt, I would have been a lot more worried for Ramondre. But right now, the reports are that Zeke is getting pass-catching work in practice, so who knows? Maybe he is going to eat into Ramondre Stevenson's workload enough to where it kind of hurts him. But as of right now, I think it was more of an insurance move for Stevenson, although $6 million is a good amount, so we'll see what happens. I wouldn't worry too much. I definitely, if you've got Ramondre, don't sell, hold right now. It's not worth selling while he's on a down, and you're not going to get much for him. And it's just worth riding him. I mean, everyone needs running backs to win a championship. So, all right, let's get into the buy and sell segment. If you are a championship contending team heading into the season, I'm going to give you some guys to go by that'll give you some solid production all year long. Maybe are being looked at in a down light right now. I just gave you a few because of the news and injury notes, but they won't be too much of a cost in your home dynasty leagues, I don't think, because of all the new incoming talent that everyone's looking at. They're definitely avoiding all these vets and these guys that can get you solid production for the entire season and get you into the playoffs and maybe even give you a push to win. So Amari Cooper is my first one. He is entering year 2 with Deshaun Watson as his quarterback, so that's good. A little bit more consistency. Hopefully Watson improves, but last year he was the number 8 receiver overall in points in a PPR format. So he was beating out Chase and Amon-Ra quietly because, I mean, those two are clearly picked well before Cooper. But Cooper's just consistently a wide receiver one. And yet the Dynasty community is kind of done. They're like, he's been in the league forever. He was, on 3 teams now. But with another offseason with Deshaun Watson and the market looking down on Cooper, I would just go ahead and go get a wide receiver one for less than a wide receiver one price. So my next guy, Aaron Jones. I don't usually tell people to go buy a running back, but you need them to win, like I said. And if you're making a push, what's not to like with the security of a guy who's getting $11 million in an offense that is going to have a young quarterback? I mean, young in the terms like, I mean, he's been in the league, but he's young in the terms that he hasn't played a lot, taking the helm. So Jordan Love is going to have to rely on Aaron Jones in every facet of the game, and that'll lead to just a lot of production. So trading for Jones shouldn't be hard due to his age right now. And the fact that there's a lot of other players that people are infatuated with. So add him for, a boost to your running back depth for a season. He definitely, let's see, 2 seconds? Should be able to get it done. And then your seconds are going to be probably late. Second and a third maybe could get it done. Second and a mid-tier player that's not really going to do anything for your squad and it's just going to sit on the bench. But, he finished as the RB7 last year. So I expect him to be right there, unless an injury happens. But you don't plan for those. So my third player that I'll tell all the contenders to go buy, this one should be a little bit cheaper because everyone's infatuated with Ridley. Christian Kirk, I feel like I kind of am on the Christian Kirk train because he left for Ridley left for 2 NFL seasons now because of injury and then the gambling thing. And Kirk last year had 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns with Lawrence. So he's 2 years younger than Ridley. He costs less than Ridley. He's on an offense that everyone's excited about. So I would just go ahead and grab Christian Kirk for cheap and just have a wide receiver 1 production for, a wide receiver 3 slot. If you maybe a flex play on a weekly basis, he's going to produce. That offense has got to move. Lawrence is projected to improve, so why not go ahead and grab Kirk and a piece of that offense? You always want to buy the cheapest piece of a high profile offense just to have a shot. Like I mean, the amount of players like go grab MVS, like Goddard is the cheapest one on the Eagles. Tyler Boyd is a good sleeper right now because the Bengals are going to need to throw. Like it's you want like the cheap piece. If you don't have the elite guys of an offense, you want the cheap piece at least, so that way you're still getting some of that production. So, all right, we'll jump into the sells. I think the writing is definitely on the wall for these guys. I'm not writing them off entirely for this season necessarily. They will definitely produce, but I think there's some ominous signs out there for these guys, and I do feel like if you don't sell them while they haven't while the competition or the injuries or any of that sets in, I would probably get like max value now for the teams that are looking like they might compete, and are trying to like ramp it up for the start of the season. So we'll start with Mike Williams. Mike Williams just can't stay healthy for the most of his career. I mean, he's had a few good seasons. I don't think he's necessarily put it together all in one season. Herbert's there, which is great for him, but his replacement is also there in Quentin Johnston. So it's just the writing is there. It's saying, okay, well, the future is here. Yeah, you might have one more season of showing this rookie how the ropes go, but after a while, you're gonna be faded out of this offense, and we're gonna probably move on. I mean, Josh Palmer looked great last season. Keenan Allen is aging, so it looks like there's a new offense that's going to surround Herbert here in the future. And Mike Williams is on a hefty contract while Quentin Johnston is on a rookie contract. And it's just, I personally would say Mike Williams is worth something now, but he won't be worth what he is now in a year's time, 6 months' time, because of the flashes. Every time Quentin Johnston flashes, it will make Mike Williams less valuable. So make your decisions. Terry McLaurin. I have shares of Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin. He has never had the right quarterback or the right coaching style. And I feel like the hype is steering towards Jahan Dotson, and we may never see a quarterback that McLaurin deserves. So look to move McLaurin before it's too late. For what he's worth now would be better than hoping that he climbs back to his value. He got injured in the last preseason game, which is unfortunate. Like, why are the Commanders playing their wide receiver one in a preseason game and getting him hurt? And I know it's not a win-win situation. You need to get these guys practice. He needs to connect with Sam Howell, but has he not done that enough in practice to where you need to have him live in game action? And now he's got a toe injury, and so the hype is. It might be hard to sell McLaurin right now because you're not going to get even max value because of the injury. So hold until he's healthy and playing this season. Week 2, week 3, week 4, when he's got maybe a couple of good games with Sam Howell, trade on the hype because the Commanders probably aren't committed to Howell for long term unless if he really, really takes off and excels, which I do not see happening. Brissett probably will find his way into the offense at some point this season. So my third guy that I would say sell, and this one's probably going to hurt some of you, is Travis Etienne. It's not necessarily what he's doing. He's fine. But it's each week since draft, the hype for Tank Bigsby has just increased. So I do expect him to eat into Etienne's production. They can probably keep Etienne healthy now because of Tank Bigsby rotating in, but that's just going to eat into his value and his touches. And personally, it's just less fantasy points. Both of them are going to produce. It looks like both of them are going to be valuable to the offense. But how many running backs can really succeed in a passing offense? I know Travis Etienne's the passing down back, but it looks like he's going to get less work. And at the end of the day, I would sell before he's just a flex back rather than a starting running back 1 or running back 2. And he doesn't have like the opportunity to be elite for fantasy if Tank Bigsby is going to get this many touches. So I would just, maybe find your way out, trade to someone who needs a running back and is trying to compete, and see what you can get, because next year's draft is going to be pretty deep with lots of rich talent. So, all right, so let's jump into this mock draft here. Been preparing. I'm picking from the 4 spot. It's going to be fun. All right, so if any egregious picks happen, I'll obviously change them. I saw one mock draft where the bot took who was it? It was Bijan at like 3 or something. It was just like, okay, that's random. All right, so let's start the draft. See, and this is what I've been facing. Um, been contemplating trading back. This league allows trading back, but I think I'm gonna take Jamar Chase. Get like Jefferson production 2 picks later. Jefferson should have been the one. I've been hoping for McCaffrey to fall, but he won't, obviously. Oh, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, Derrick Henry. Those are interesting starts. Okay. See, and this is what I'm always facing with my second pick in the mock draft is like Pollard or Amon-Ra or Pollard or Garrett Wilson. It's like one of those two. Let's switch it up. Let's do a weird start. See what happens. I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts. Going 0 RB. It looks like. Yeah, I just talked bad about Travis Etienne. Brees Hall. Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, it's looking like I'm not going to have a running back if I wait. I don't want Ramondre, though, as my RB1. I should not have taken Hurts, probably. I should have probably taken Pollard. But I got cute. Let's continue with the weird start then, huh? That's not what y'all expected. This is what mock drafts are for. Just seeing what your team shapes out to be like if you have a weird start. It's a home league too, so I honestly wouldn't even expect Hurts or Andrews to still be there. Oh, I got lucky. I'm gonna take Joe Mixon. Lots of opportunity in that offense. Yeah, and cheapest one in that offense. I'm sure Higgins. Yep, Higgins went in the third. Chase obviously went in the first. Oh, well, I'm defending on the Bengals now, aren't I? Let's go with Miles Sanders. He should get a lot of work in that offense too. Okay, I don't hate this. I don't have to worry about my quarterback or tight end at all. So I can just hammer all the other positions. And it's a shallow bench, so. Gosh, I wish I could turn that off. Hold on. Let me see if I can mute this. Yep, boom. Okay. Yeah, I'll take Lockett. Wide receiver 2, solid. Mike Evans, gotta go with the boy. Yeah. I don't hate it since it turned out like this, but I doubt it would turn out like this in the home league. So Kamara probably would go in the 4th because I'm playing with a bunch of Saints fans. Yeah, we'll go Dylan. I need some running back depth. I don't love it, but like that's someone you can just plug into your flex play and get 8 points, 9 points. You just need the boom games from your wide receivers. Yeah, Michael Thomas would probably be gone by now. I'll go with Zay. Brian Robinson would be gone by now. It's hard doing this just off the cuff, looking through this ADP. I don't like their sleeper ADP. Okay. What do I got? Should I go all Cincy? Get the solid backup. Yeah, and then I'll take McKinnon as my last pick.